Happy Tuesday! Today we're going to talk about when you should consider turning down a role. Hello, it's Asia Ray here with another Tuesday Guru Tips for Actors. And today I want to talk about a decision that some of us as actors have to make at some point in our careers, and that is when to turn down a role. Now, this seems counterintuitive because all of us want work and we're constantly trying to get work, right? So when does it make sense to turn down work that you get? I have 3 examples that I want to share with you. So the first is when you're not comfortable portraying a character. And an example that I have of this is a friend of mine just recently was offered a role where he's playing this flamboyantly gay character. And that's not really an image that he wants to portray right now. At this point in his career, he does happen to be gay, but he is trying to portray more mainstream roles and get that kind of stuff for his reel. And so he decided actually to not do this role. Another example might be if, there's some sort of stereotype that you don't feel like portraying. You should feel completely confident in your right to turn down a role in that case. The second example is when you're not comfortable with the circumstances of the shoot. A friend of mine was recently cast in a movie where she found out that the filmmakers didn't have permits and they were going to be shooting guerrilla style, and she didn't really feel safe with that. So she had her manager talk to the filmmakers, and ultimately she decided to do it. But if they didn't work something out, she would have been completely within her rights to turn down that role. Another example is when there's nudity involved and you maybe didn't know that during the audition, and that comes up as you're talking about the role. You should make sure that you are completely comfortable with everything that's going to be happening during a shoot because you are in control. The third example is when your compensation or your level of credit doesn't match where you are in your career right now. I was actually recently offered a co-star role by a director, a friend of mine, and this was on a very popular TV show, a TV show that I would love to be on. And actually, I've been cast by this casting office a few times, and the casting office actually said, "Wow, we're surprised that Asia Ray would accept this level of role." And I thought, you know what? You have a point there. I'm really going the next tier in my career, and so I decided to turn it down, and I think that was a great decision to make. And same goes for compensation. If you're at a level where you're getting a certain quote and the people can't match the quote, you should feel really good about turning it down. You have to sometimes make a stand for you and your career and where you are. Now, I would recommend that as much as possible, you get clear on your principles now so that you have some sort of guidepost to make a really good decision when circumstances arise where you have to make a choice. And also, this probably goes without saying, but if you know that before you audition for a project that it doesn't really match your principles, don't bother auditioning. Don't waste the casting people's time, the filmmaker's time, whoever's involved. If you know you're not going to be able to do it, then go ahead and make that decision before you put yourself in the running for it. So I hope those 3 things help, and I will see you next week on Guru Tips for Actors. If you're loving this content, feel free to share it with your friends, and I'd love to hear your comments in the notes about reasons why you might turn down a role. Talk to you then.